Hey everyone, welcome to Rich Mama Secrets. We're on Module 9, Ways to Bring in Extra Cash. So let's get started. Listen, there are always ways to boost your income without having to get a new job. So let's talk about some ways. So one way, you could always ask for a raise. If you have a good record and work hard, most bosses will consider giving you a raise. But you want to come in with a plan for having that raise. Or getting that raise. So it's not because you need the money, it's because you've done great work, you've done salary research, but sometimes just asking, you might be pleasantly surprised. It might be something that happens almost immediately, or it might be something that happens after the next review period. But so don't discount asking for a raise. You can find a bank with better interest rates. So online banks like ING Direct tend to have higher interest rates. So look around. Also ensure, obviously, that your online bank is FDIC insured, which means that money you have it is insured in case the bank fails. It's insured by the government. Many banks are, most banks are, but just double check. Now, if you're happy with your bank, then look at other types of accounts at your bank, such as money market accounts, because you'll usually pay a higher rate of interest than regular checking and savings account. And one of the reasons why they do this is because there's a little more risk. Sometimes that particular account is not FDIC insured, and there might be some penalties for doing too many withdrawals during a month for an account. But if it's for an amount of money you don't plan on using, it's not like your bill payment account, it might be a good way, like a good place for your emergency 3 to 6 months of living expenses. You can always get a second job, okay? It doesn't have to be a glamorous job, but you might want to get a second job, especially if you're serious about debt repayment. You might want to find a way to get a second job, or if you're a stay-at-home mom, find a way to get even a part-time job and just use all that money to go towards debt repayment. So even if it's a job that only brings in, a couple $100 a month, it could be a pretty sizable payment on your debts. But you don't want to get into having to do a second job forever. That will just wear you out. So if you are one person, a second job, and you need your spouse to go off and get a second job, you don't want to do that. If you're a stay-at-home mom and you want to get a part-time job, maybe that is something you want to continue, maybe it's not. So use this idea with caution. One of the other ways, especially as a stay-at-home mom, if you're not want to go into part-time working and get a real job, and I just put a little quote just about that, look at services, babysitting, lawn mowing, or weeding. Maybe you can even do some painting houses, some sort of consulting or freelancing, bookkeeping, cleaning. If you are a stay-at-home mom and you used to have a job and you used to work, think about what you used to do and see if there's any way you could offer that on a consultant basis to your old company. Maybe working by the hour. Yes, you won't probably get benefits, but maybe something you can do from home with your computer and a modem and a phone. Also think about some other skills you might have developed. Maybe you've actually become really good at Photoshop because of all the family pictures and family albums you've put together. There is a need for people out there, business owners do have needs for images to be redone, and maybe you can add that with some great writing skills and become a copywriter, or maybe you can add that, maybe you set up a personal blog, so maybe you can start to offer that, and that all goes in the idea of freelancing, and you can go to different sites and find out how you can take jobs on as a freelancer. And this is great because there's no startup costs, very little startup costs for this. Sometimes starting a business could really is more draining on a bank account, at least at first. So some of these ideas can really help you pick up an extra few $100s every week or every weekend, and that can really add up over the month. There's another idea. If you have a good eye for a bargain, you can buy items at garage sales and then resell them. Sometimes you can find real bargains at garage sales, and you can resell them at a flea market, through the newspaper, Craigslist, or online. Or maybe you'll hold your own garage sale. So that's something to keep in mind. You just have to be careful that you don't wind up going around and buying for yourself and not, at the end, making any money. So how can you use the internet to help make more money? Well, you can always use eBay and Amazon to make sales. You could make your own website. You could sell your own products or earn commissions by selling other people's products. This is called affiliate marketing sometimes. And say you really loved to garden and you were really great tomato gardener. You could start a website or a blog all about growing tomatoes, for instance. This is all hypothetical. And you would probably, and if you just started posting about growing tomatoes and different methods for growing tomatoes, you would probably, after a while, start to gain a decent amount of people who find your site through the search engines and say, wow, I really need that information on tomatoes. Well, then, because you have built-in audience or eyeballs, you could sign up and become an affiliate for products that are sold on Amazon, for instance, gardening products. And you could say, great, thanks for reading my article on, the best way to grow tomatoes in cold climates. I also love these great gardening gloves are available on Amazon. Someone buys the gardening gloves, you might, through your link, that link to Amazon, you would get a small cut or commission on selling those gloves. You could also put in ads. You could also create books that you sell online. And that's one way to do it. The thing with this is that it does take time to build up traffic, and you have to really like to write, because one of the ways that most online businesses, websites get traffic is by having a lot of content. You could, we kind of go back to another idea is writing. You can write how-to books that's sold through Amazon.com or ClickBank.com. These are mostly ebooks. Amazon's getting into this too. You can also sell, if you're a good writer, this is really great for stay-at-home parents, you can sell your article writing services at some of these different websites. So people need content, as I said, for their websites and also for something called article directories, which helps them get traffic. And not everybody who has a successful website is so good at writing. So if you are good at writing and like to do that, you can write, and you can write relatively short articles, usually through research done on the internet, to different business owners, and you can usually make anywhere from $5 to $15 per article if you write a how-to book. Sometimes those ebooks can sell for $9, $15, $20, so that might be a good way to make money. Another idea is something called a VA or virtual assistant. There's several small businesses who need someone to help them grow and maintain their business, but they don't want to pay for an employee. They don't want to, get in the house as an employee, or they don't need 40 hours a week. They could need someone to help post content to their blogs. Maybe not write it, but just to go in and manually post content to their blogs. They could have someone with bookkeeping. They could needs help creating an email or a newsletter, or even a physical newsletter, laying it out in a program like Microsoft Publisher or Word. Maybe they want to have someone answering customer support email, managing their social media accounts like Facebook and Twitter, creating presentations and videos. So again, there are websites out there, Elance, Guru.com, where you can kind of check out and see where people are posting jobs. You could also check out Virtual Assistant on the internet and see where that is. Okay, you could also create web shows. If you, again, have a hobby and you're interested, you can create your own show on the internet and collect ad revenues. Maybe, again, you love to garden and you grow giant tomatoes. Well, if you did a little, maybe 15-minute video presentation on how to grow great tomatoes and all the fun in the garden, you might be able to put it up on YouTube and start to collect advertising revenue. Again, especially the advertising revenue and any websites, is you need a decent amount of traffic to make some decent money. Okay, blogging. This is, I think, an idea that intrigues a lot of people. Blogging is, we're not saying you want to blog necessarily about your daily life. You want to blog about a topic of interest to you that other people are interested in as well. So again, I come back to gardening and growing tomatoes. There are probably a significant number of people out there who are interested in gardening. You know there are, because there's tons of magazines and shows and even a whole channel dedicated to it. And then that's kind of broad though, but there's probably lots of people interested in growing their own vegetables or growing tomatoes specifically. Tomatoes can be tricky. So you could create a blog where you talk all about gardening and tomatoes specifically, and you can monetize it, which means get paid for it with advertising, sales of your own digital products, and commissions from affiliate products. Blogging can be pretty easy to set up. Here are some costs. You buy a domain name for $10, and that's usually good for a year. Hosting can be $8 a month at HostGator. You use a free software called WordPress, which is a great, easy to use software. And then you just start writing and you start getting traffic. But again, to really make money from it, you probably need a decent amount of traffic, and you have to be committed to creating content on a regular basis, which is great because it can be done at almost any time of day or night. And it might also take a little time to see some money from it. So something like freelancing, where you go and get paid to maybe do some Photoshop work for somebody right off the bat, maybe they'll pay you 10 or 20 bucks right away for that. They can even pay you through PayPal. But so you want to kind of weigh your options. If you're looking to make immediate money, sometimes doing a freelance job is a great way to make money, but building something like a blog or a website can create a longer term revenue stream. So next we're going to ask yourself, these questions. So how much extra money do I need to satisfy my needs? Do you truly need to make more money for over the long term? Obviously, we'd all like to make as much money as possible, because you just cannot survive on what you're making. Even the barest minimum of life can't be supported. Well, then you might want to look at getting a raise at your first job, or improving your job. If you're simply saying, hey, we want to really pay down our credit card debt, or if we want to go on a vacation to Disney, you might want to look at what you can do to bring in more money. You want to look at how you can maybe turn your hobby into an income stream instead of a cash drain. And also really look at how you can use the internet. You can find freelance jobs there. You can start a blogging business. But one thing you want to be really careful of if you're going to start a business is that it truly brings in money almost from the get-go, or has super low rate of money investment. You don't want a business become just another debt that you have to pay off and take care of. Okay, so what's one of the best ways to start making more money? See if you can get a raise at your job. Come in prepared with a reason why you deserve a raise, and see what happens. Usually you don't get in trouble just for asking for the raise, especially if you ask politely, and it also will provide important feedback if you don't get a raise and what you need to do to get there. See if you can put your ad in your local community newspaper, newsletter to offer some services: babysitting, handiwork, errand running, grocery shopping, dog walking. You can look into online opportunities such as writing, blogging, virtual assisting, or something like a web show. So go out, get started. There really are lots of ways to make extra money. Good luck.